Yep.
to actually get started here?
Been set up for 20 minutes now.
Oh, but we have to build the tension, dramatic
Right.
tension, build up, etc. So we've got everything loaded up. Let me make sure my computer's behaving. Generally a good thing to be doing, seeing as it completely crashed yesterday. So once I'm actually certain that it's not about to blow up in about 5 minutes, we'll be good to go. Hopefully it doesn't, because that would be bad. That would be very, very bad if it blew up again. But it looks like everything is good to go, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Are you ready, Elaine?
Yep.
Okay.
Just nerding out a little bit more in the chat.
Alright, so let's get going in 3, 2, 1, go. Hello everyone, welcome aboard to iCCup Television and our coverage of Gigabyte Stars Wars 6. This is the last group of the round of 32. This is Railcoon with Elaine Sun alongside. Thanks everybody for watching, and thanks again to Gigabyte for sponsoring this, gigabyte.com. Our first match of the day is going to be Liquid Ret versus NSHS San. You can see that San's going to be the blue Protoss in the top right hand corner of Xel'Naga Caverns. It's been our starting map for this entire round. And Liquid Ret's going to be the red Zerg in the bottom left. So we got Protoss versus Zerg on Xel'Naga Caverns. This is kind of the standard of standard maps right now. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's been played out a lot, players are familiar with it, and should give us a very good introductory round between what should be a really great match between these two players.
Right. I've been a big fan of this map since it came out, mostly because of the 3 different pathways to the natural and the main, I guess. You can kind of sneak around to the tasteless, formerly secret hallway, or the John's commonly known hallway.
It's funny, I've seen more shenanigans through the John's Common Knowledge hallway than I have through the Tasteless secret hallway, so I think Tasteless has been talking too much about his secret hallway, and then everybody's been, forgetting about the Common Knowledge hallway. And you gotta watch out for that, man. I've seen more stuff happening back here than on the other side of the map, so hey, maybe.
Everyone's like, I'm gonna take the road not taken, but then it becomes the tasteless, formerly secret hallway. Then
So
he's sending his overlord there, almost through there right now.
So is that now the Tasteless Common Knowledge hallway then, because of the way that this is played out?
I like calling it the formerly secret one.
I guess that gives a little bit of a shout out to like the hallway formerly known as the Tasteless secret hallway.
Yes. Red did go for the fast gas pool. Didn't really get to throw it on expansion because there was a probe blocking it for a little while. Puts it down just now. Slightly earlier than usual in this build. Is only gonna... Actually, never mind. Pretty standard timing from him. You can't really fast hatch on this map against Protoss. Early aggression can kill you pretty easily.
It is still a little bit earlier, like you're saying. Like a lot of players, they do aim for that 20-21 supply, so they can get their queens started and get some Zerglings out while they drop their hatchery. But Rhett actually skipped that and went like 14-16, which is really old school build. You don't see that too much these days. And now he's starting a second queen immediately, which goes back to this old school build. He's going to be able to use this first queen to start spreading creep. It'll be down there right when the hatch finishes, so he's going to have 2 quick hatches, 2 really quick queens. This is a really flexible build here in the early game, and it's going to give him a lot of options. And as we look back over into San's base, he's actually going for a really quick Twilight Council. And since he has both gas, that could be really fast blink, which is amazing on this map because of the low ground over here by the natural. Or, of course, DTs are always a question mark. But I think it's going to be blink just because of this map.
DTs are kind of his trademark. We see that in half of his games. He tried to use them against Jinro. He loves his DTs not so much early game as mid to late game, when there's so much going on that it's really difficult to keep track of DTs. So if you get one in there, you could do a lot of harass. But I really think he's going for Stalker because the current metagame for PvZ in Korea is Blink Stalkers. We saw it destroy Sen yesterday.
But he does go for the Dark Shrine. He says, no, I'm Sun. I don't care if everybody's making Blink Stalkers right now. I don't care if this is like the best map in the pool for Blink Stalkers. I'm just going to go straight for Dark Templars. I mean, if you go for a really well timed out, like 3-gate, super fast Blink Rush, and you put your pylon over here at the gold, and then you just use that Blink micro to blink down to the low ground, there's nothing the Zerg player can do to deal with it except hope that you mess up your Blink micro. Like, if you do that perfectly executed, it's almost like in the hands of the Protoss player at that point. And San's going to say, you know what? I'm just going to pass it up. I like Dark Templars, and we'll see what he's going to be able to do with them.
It's not actually a bad decision on this map. It's really easy to get Dark Templar to, just get complete map control, as well as be able to expand mine that, which is exactly what he's doing. It's very difficult for Zerg to push out against him, so it's a really safe way to expand. Rhett is not going to push out when there are Dark Templar in the field, and it doesn't even have a lair yet. He did go for the Roach tech, which pretty standard. I mean, you're not going to mainly bust a Protoss with a single force field ramp, so.
Uh-oh, first Dark Templar is out on the field.
Already going for the gold rocks, though, because it is Rhett.
Like you said, he hasn't even started that layer yet. If you look, he doesn't have an evolution chamber either. So, Rhett is going to be in kind of a panic mode when these Dark Templars get here. This could be really bad. Rhett going for the really quick third hatch completely delayed his layer. He is now starting an evolution chamber. But that's really late, as the first Dark Templar is now inside the natural, going up the ramp to the main base. But at the same time, Rhett's hitting the natural of San, just with everything he has. So San has to pull most of the Dark Templars back just to defend. Rhett saying, okay, you know what, I'm weak against these DTs, whatever, I'll just kill you.
Right, he did see those DTs. I mean, obviously you can't actually see them, but you can see the blur, and he was like, you know what, I have enough units to just go and counter. I'm not going to be able to get detection up in time to actually defend my own base. So let me go and destroy what he has, which worked perfectly, taking out that Nexus, taking away his early advantage.
Yeah, and if you look back into the main of Rhett, he pulled all the drones off the main. They're now in the natural. He has a Spore Crawler up. He probably wants another one. Just because of the way that this base here is set up, well, a single Spore Crawler is going to have his gold. Oh, it is?
But if he can take that out in time and actually get that gold up, which it's not looking terribly likely, he lets it finish while the DT's still here. 3 Zerglings trying to come in and clean this up. Oh, they are going to prevent him from taking down the hatchery, so he has a massive lead right now.
He did lose the hatch in his main, actually, to that Dark Templar, and now it's going after the spawning pool. He almost had that layer done, but the Dark Templar was able to take it out. So he's basically had to rebuild into his natural. He's got the gold up with almost no health. He's got the 2 Spore Colors for detection, and if we look at the worker count, you can see he's just about even. So this did work out pretty well here.
He's letting his pool die.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing he can do about it. He doesn't have a Spore Crawler.
He's up another one.
His lair is just about to finish. And this is why he needs another Spore Crawler in the natural, because it's really difficult to cover this entire area with 1 Spore Crawler.
Well, he's working an Overseer since his lair just finished.
Yeah.
This extra DT is going to be taken out by Queens. But he has lost his spawning pool. He's about to lose his evolution chamber. He's just giving up his main. I mean, that's actually not the worst decision, because he does still have this gold, which has 52 HP, which a Stalker is... Okay, he does transfuse it at the last second and takes out the Stalker. This is like the riskiest thing ever. I mean...
But that's like the way Rhett plays. It's crazy. It's this is so risky and on the edge, but it's like almost standard for Rhett, because he does that all the time. But, I mean, like you said, giving up his main, it's not a bad decision, but usually one of the things you want to do when you give up your main is rebuild the tech. I've seen a lot of really good Zerg players lose because they made a really good decision to give up the base and then they didn't rebuild the tech. So that they've got, like, all their drones, everything's in order, and they start to macro and they're like, I can't build anything. It's actually, like, surprisingly easy to forget, like, when you're giving up a base, that you have to rebuild all those tech buildings as a Zerg player. And now he's going to poke in with some Zerglings into the natural, just see what San is doing. He's going to see a pretty sizable army, and that's going to freak him out, seeing as he doesn't have, well, the capability to produce anything except for roaches here.
He he's relying on this gold to keep him in this game. If he loses that gold, then he loses all advantage in this game, and it's
Son?
two base, which pushes him behind. And
Son
this
just
gold is
finished
150
Blink.
HP.
Like, if you look at this, he could run up
Yeah.
with his
That's why
stalkers, shoot the gold, and then blink away. It wouldn't actually be very difficult for him to take that out. So this is a very dangerous play here by Rhett. He lost his spawning pool, so he can't even make spine crawlers, which is normally what you'd be relying on in this situation. Hasn't rebuilt the spawning pool at all. San is now going to push in with his army. He's just going to force field everything and take it out because he is rather confident in his ability to do so. And without the extra Zerglings, without any spine crawlers at all, these stalkers don't even really have to blink at all. You see one little blink there at the end, and this gold base is pretty much gone.
I don't see Rhett sticking in this because, I mean, he didn't rebuild his pool. He relies on his gold base that has like 100 and something HP. He's pulls his drones, but I still don't think he's going to be able to defend this. He finally gets his main back up, but he doesn't.
Yeah, look at that blink micro there by San, doing a great job cycling those stalkers through.
Yeah,
he's still fighting the roaches. All he has to do is right click on this hatchery and then blink away.
I don't know.
And that would be pretty much good game right there, but all the roaches are dead. There's the GG. He never actually lost that hatchery because he GG'd
well, it doesn't even
before.
matter because if he just took out the forces, there was no way you're gonna win. Like if he had actually spent time, you know, sniping the hatchery, he would have won. But if you get the roaches, he would have won. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think even if he wasn't planning on making Zerglings, the spawning pool just for spine crawlers, not spore crawlers. Why do we keep saying that? Would have been really helpful because it's kind of like a delayed 4-gate situation that he got himself into. There's actually 5 gateways, but the same style of an attack there by San, and usually if you can get some spine crawlers up, get those roaches and Zerglings, it'd help a lot. Especially since you know he's going to attack through that choke point. I don't know.
I just don't like his decision to kind of, I don't know.
It's really easy to sit here in our no pressure situation in our chairs and say, oh Rhett, how could you? But you have to remember, you know, that he was under a lot of pressure at the time. Even though he's, you know, familiar with playing in these situations, it's very easy to make mistakes there. So give us a second. We're going to take a quick commercial break while we load up the next game. And then we'll be back with game number 2 between San and Rhett.
There's no situation where you shouldn't know that, you know, no matter what San makes, he could make a suicide mission, kill that hatchery, and win completely no matter how many units he loses in that situation. Which is why I was so worried for him, because it literally had 100 HP. Like, what are you going to do with that hatchery? You could send in a suicide force of zealots and snipe it.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't even need to suicide anything with Blink on the field. Wow, really? This is possible in this map pool?